Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode on the HermitCraft Feed the Beast server. So guys, I've been busy with Thaumcraft. Last episode, we made the Thaumonomicon, we made a cauldron, I made my first wand, and then I decided it was time that I should start researching some things. So I've been doing that off camera and I spent a lot of time researching things. Just been randomly throwing things into the research table, hitting that research button, putting on thoroughness, wasting a lot of items, but I have a lot of items anyway, so it's not a big deal. So if we look at the Thaumonomicon, we can see that, whoops, wrong thing. We can see that, yeah, those are the things that were originally researched, or that was already there from the start when I made the book. But I have gone through the trees. I have researched pretty much everything that can be researched. This took hours. But yeah, it was kind of fun just kind of doing it in my downtime when I couldn't really play a lot, just, rendering a video or something. So yeah, it wasn't too bad. So I can pretty much make every single thing, and I have unlocked Thaumic bees. So that is awesome. So this means, yeah, Stark bees and the Thaumic bees. So this means I can make all of the different bees in the game now, which is awesome. But what's also cool is I've unlocked these other wands of frost and fire, excavation. These are pretty cool. Pickaxe of the core, I know this does something special. Maybe it auto smelts. I don't know. I know this thing is made out of the thaumium ingots or whatever. Axe of the Stream's pretty cool. You can chop down a tree just by standing at its base and clicking on it. It just chops it from the top all the way down. And Sword of the Zephyr, I believe if you right click with this thing, it sends out a force field of air and pushes everything away from you. I think that's how that works. I haven't really played around with those things too much. I have found an Axe of the Stream in a dungeon before, so I've played around with that. But as far as the pick and the shovel, yeah, I still haven't played around with those at all. So I finally put the stained glass on these two. They look pretty much the same. This is the white glass. This is light gray. Not really. They look pretty much exactly the same, to be honest. But these were the lead bees. I really didn't know what color to do for these. These guys are kind of like a lightish, pinkish, reddish color. So yeah, I think the closest thing was just that gray. And then these are the valuable bees, which are kind of a white color. So I went with white. So yep, that's all done. Now is the time where I got to figure out if I'm going to continue to add or expand more of these hives out this way, or I've had another suggestion where I should start taking these things and going up with them, which actually is probably a pretty good idea. Right now, I'm not sure how many chunks it is that I have to have loaded, but having all these bees running all of the time means that I have to have a lot of different chunks loaded. While this looks cool, I don't really like having that many chunks loaded all of the time, especially when I'm not playing. I know I can, remove the chunk loader or something like that. And I don't want to keep expanding out because that means I'm going to have to load more chunks. So I think I'm probably going to end up going up with these, vertically up. I could also put some more underneath, but I'd prefer to have these all above ground because that's the style that I've already gone with. Yeah, I mean, we've already made a pretty cool pattern here. We got 4 on this row, that row, and this row. Unfortunately, they don't quite line up just because I was following the natural curve of these mountains over here. So if I removed this honeycomb right here and I moved it over here, it would be more symmetrical. But, whatever. I think it looks pretty cool still. So, enough about the bees for now. After I did this research, I had high flux when I logged out for the night. So, yeah, I was putting a lot of stuff in the atmosphere, whatever that is. But anyway, the flux was high. It's causing thunderstorms or whatever. I logged out for the night, came back on in the morning, and I looked over here, and this cage where the node is had about 50 wisps, and it was crazy. So yeah, I just went in there and I started killing all those things, but man, I'm just glad I'm glad that I put this glass cage around because I don't want to deal with 50 random wisps just kind of flying around this area. So I have made some of these wands, and these wands are kind of interesting. I made the top end wand of the Thaumcraft. I don't know how you pronounce that properly. But this is basically you need nether star to make one of these, and it holds like 1000 V. So this is a pretty cool wand. I'm really not sure what you can do with these wands other than stick them in like the... Is this an infusion altar? Besides stick them in here and craft things with them. I don't know if these wands really serve any other purpose than that. But these wands, Wand of Fire, Wand of Lightning, Wand of Excavation, these are pretty cool. Now, some things that I didn't know about these wands when I first crafted them, as you might, maybe some of you know, this wand right here has charging and potency on it. This is a lightning rod. So this is used for like attacking. It makes some cool animations. It does a lot of damage to mobs. The charging effect on it allows it to use some V from the atmosphere. Let me see if I can do this again. There it is. Yeah, it uses some V from the atmosphere and then automatically repairs itself, which is pretty cool. But what I found out is that the charging one, you can only put that on, or you could put frugal, which is like unbreaking. You can't put them both on, and once you put one on, you can't put the other on. I didn't know that. So I made up all these wands, Wand of Lightning, Fire, Excavation, and Frost, and I put frugal on all of them from the books over at our experience area. And then I was like, oh, well, maybe we should put the repair, the auto repair on them. Well, nope, you can't do that. So now I kind of wasted all these wands, and I got to remake them so I can, you know, have them so they auto repair like this one's currently doing right now. Now it's completely fixed again. So that's kind of annoying. So I haven't really built a room yet for the Thaumcraft stuff, so I just put this table, this crafting table, infusion, I can't remember what that thing's called, and the research table just right here in the middle of the room. But since I've done all that research, I really don't think there's any need to have this research table anymore. Although there could be some secret things that I haven't researched yet. I don't know. But eventually I would like to make a room specifically for the Thaumcraft stuff. Probably over this direction so it's closer to like the bigger nodes or something. But yeah. So what I want to do right now is I want to fix a mistake that I made. That's right. I made a mistake, and it's with the AE system. So let's kind of go over what's going on here one more time for those, maybe the new people who haven't seen this before. So what I have going on here is I have these fabricators that are taking dust, the tiny piles of dust that are coming into the system. When it gets 4 tiny piles of dust, it exports it into an ME interface directly below these fabricators. And for instance, this one's trying to always make silver dust. So once the interface down below gets 4 tiny piles of dust, this will automatically craft it, puts it over here, and then I have a router down below that's extracting the regular dusts from these fabricators and putting it into the ME system, which is great. It works. It does exactly what I want. Auto crafting that dust into the bigger parts, the bigger piles of dust. Then I have those big piles of dust over here coming through an ME export bus, and it's going directly into a powered furnace. When this gets done, it ejects that dust, I believe, down into another interface, and that goes back into the system as a fully smelted, like a iron ingot or lead ingot or whatever, piece of bronze. Okay, so I mean, that sounds simple enough, but the problem is I don't need these fabricators, and I just discovered this. I was messing around with the export buses, and if we come back over here, let's look at the iron one, for instance. I knew there was this redstone mode, so we can make it so it's always on. We can make it so it's, you know, only on if it does not have a redstone signal, or if it has a redstone signal. We can do it so it's once per, you know, like a button press or something, it'll send one item. But then there's this button down here. So this is stack mode, where right now it's set to move only one item at a time. You can click it and you can move stacks of an item, which is great. Let me do this active with signal. So then I discovered that there's these other buttons. I never really clicked through these before. So this is move single items /craft, which means it's going to do one at a time until the system's empty, and then it's going to try and craft if there is a pattern for it. So this is where the derp moment comes in, because I just found this out. So it'll export all of the iron dust in my system, and if it doesn't have any, it will craft some. So I went and I made some new patterns. Let's see, if I go to craftable, I went and I remade all of these patterns again. These are using 4 tiny piles of dust to make an iron dust, for instance. So all I would need to do is set this to move single items /craft and say active without a signal, and it's just going to automatically craft those items and stick it into the powered furnace as the powered furnace has space available. So if I have over 64 in here, it's just going to wait until it smelts an item, then it's going to craft a new one and stick it right in here, which is awesome. That means that this is automatically crafting the tiny piles into the large piles, which means I can remove these fabricators, the interfaces down below, and save a bunch of power on this ME system. This probably also means that since most of those are not needed, I'm probably going to move all these fabricators maybe over here and move these powered furnaces down this way, just so I'm not having to run the cables as far and other things like that. Another thing, I'm auto-crafting impregnated frames doing the same method. The fabricator, or there's an interface down below that's providing 8 sticks and a string. And yeah, this fabricator is going to automatically craft them when it gets a redstone signal. That redstone signal is only applied if we have less than 100 of these impregnated frames in the system. Well, this again isn't necessary. I was doing this just so we always had some and it auto-craft them. But if I put the export bus that's attached to the ones that are providing frames, let's see, like redstone frames, for instance. Where's the export bus? If I click on this guy, yeah, export bus, impregnated frames, I could do the same thing if I have the pattern for this made. Just make this move single items /craft, and I believe this would work exactly the same without that fabricator over there, because I already have the pattern and I already have the level emitter down below that turns on the redstone signal when I reach below 5,000 redstone. So yeah, I can get rid of like a bunch of these fabricators. It was just one of those moments where I realized that I could do that. And it's like, oh man, I completely did this all wrong. But it's cool that I can compact this now, get rid of these things that aren't needed. Cans, I think I can do the same exact thing. I was making these cans so I could put them into the dissipation charge carpenter over here. But if I go down to one of those export buses down here, whichever one I have set to export cans, again, same thing. I already have a pattern for the cans, so I can make this to move stacks of items. I guess move single items is fine /craft. And it'll craft up 12 more as it needs it and stick it in this router that goes into the carpenter. So this is going to be nice. I mean, I'm going to be able to compact stuff a lot more now. Whoop, come on, get out of there. All right. Oh, man. Okay, so I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to make another cut real quick. I'm going to start removing things that I don't need, compact this stuff down a bit more, rearrange some things, and we will be right back. Okay guys, so I was taking down these fabricators, and I was thinking there's probably no point to even auto-crafting the titanium, olivine, emerald, and all that stuff. We don't have anything here to use that in. We don't have like an industrial blast furnace. We don't have the implosion compressor to make the emeralds. So yeah, I'm going to leave that stuff in tiny piles. So I've just removed all of this stuff over here for now. And then I got over here to the oak wood and I was thinking, well, you know, there's actually a way that we could do this directly with the ME system without even having to use a fabricator to do this. The purpose of this is I always wanted to keep 500 oak logs in the system, and we were going to use the Tome of Alkahest or Cheaty Book of Cheatiness or whatever, and redstone to make more oak logs. But let's see about making this without even bothering with the fabricator up there. So what I'm thinking we could do is if we get another interface, let's grab just one of those. We need a level emitter. Let's grab this, and we need an export bus, right? Okay, I'm also gonna need one log. Where is it? Come on, there it is. 564 of them left. Okay, so I believe this is all we need. I already have a pattern created to make these oak woods, or the oak logs. So I think the only thing we would have to do is we stick an interface somewhere, right? Then we already have these cables running along here, so we don't have to waste any more cables going over there. So let's grab an export bus. We'll stick the export bus right there. Okay. We are going to say craft only with a redstone signal, and I'm going to hold off on putting that in there for right now because I think this level emitter is actually going to be on at the start. So we can go and grab a cable here. Let's just grab one of these. Okay, so cable, level emitter. Let's point this up. Yep, so that is turned on. So we want to say emit when levels are below 500 and put the oak log in there. Okay. So when we use up a lot of our wood, this should turn on, send a redstone signal to this export bus, and we are going to say move single items craft oak wood. So I think that would be all that we have to do to always make sure that we have at least 500 oak logs in our system at any given time. We could try and bump this up real quick just to see that this thing is working. So if we go to maybe 600, so that level emitter turns on for just a few seconds, I would imagine. And is it working? Let me look in here real quick. Okay, so it's not crafting. Active with signal, move single items, craft oak wood. And why is that not doing anything? Let's see. I do have a tome in there. I have 16,000 redstone. I have logs. So why move active with signal? Well, something is screwy here, and I don't know what it is because I am giving it a redstone signal. Let me try turning this around just to make sure. Active with signal. Move single item / craft. Oh, maybe I just have to do craft, always craft items. Maybe that's what it is. Up there it goes. Okay. So yeah, I turned the export bus to always craft items with the redstone signal, and then that light went out. So we should have 600 or so logs in here. Yeah, 608. That is pretty cool. Okay. But yeah, that is a pretty simple way to get this thing automated. So this right here, one export bus, one level emitter, one cable, and an interface just to put those items back into the system. And then what's also cool about this is I could hook up another one on this side, another one on this side, and another one on this side, all using the same interface and all crafting with a redstone signal. So that's pretty cost efficient, I think, for auto crafting with the ME only. Very awesome. Okay. So let's see, what else? I think what I want to do is I have been getting a lot of lapis lazuli. My lapis combs are coming in here, being centrifuged and going into the system. So if we look at here, we can see I have 111,000 lapis. That is a lot. What I want to do is start taking this stuff and compressing it down into lapis blocks. Now, the only way that you can do that, as far as I understand it, is with a compressor or singularity compressor or something of that type. So we're going to have to use IC2 machines here. Is that Greg Tech, the singularity compressor? I think it might be. I don't know. But at least a compressor is what we need to make or to turn this stuff into blocks to go into our system, save some space. And also another reason for that, let's look up let's look up lapis. So if we come in here and we look at the lapis block recipes, what it can be used with, let's see, shapeless crafting. It can be used with the tome, with diamond. 4 lapis blocks and a diamond gives us an extra diamond. So you can get a diamond from 4 lapis, which is awesome. We could make more gold with a lapis block, which is pretty cool. And if we have an emerald, each lapis block would turn into another emerald. So that is pretty awesome as well. Is that all the lapis recipes? I think that might be... What else can we do with the lapis? Is that it? That might be it. Yeah, having like unlimited diamonds and gold, which we already have pretty much with the EE equivalent exchange. We pretty much have unlimited of this stuff anyway, but being able to get it from the bees is pretty cool. Well, I guess we'd also be using the book, but yeah. And then these emeralds, I think that will be pretty awesome. Don't think, yeah, we can use a pulverizer to undo the block, but we need the IC2 machine to actually make the block. We could mass produce LESU blocks if we wanted to. LZH condensator. I think this might be, I want to say that is for the fusion, or not fusion reactor, the nuclear power. We can make lap packs. I mean, there's not a whole lot of uses, but there are uses for it. And having 111,000 singles of the lapis, a little ridiculous. I would like to compress those down to blocks. So I think what I want to do is I want to go ahead and make a compressor. So I've already made all the recipes for this. So let's just go ahead and craft one of these up. There we go. Now we got a compressor. Very cool. Yeah, I got all this stuff already programmed into the ME network so it can auto craft the circuits and the machine blocks and all of that stuff. Very basic stuff. Maybe we should clear out this space. We don't need this oak wood thing over here anymore. This is not going to be used at all since we just hooked up that other thing. Oop, getting wood. So I don't think, well, maybe I will need that cable there to take items out of the compressor and put it back in the system. But yeah, I think we can stick a compressor down over here somewhere. I think I'm going to start putting like IC2 machines over here and other things. Let's see. So I just need a block or something to stick this up against. There's that. And let's put the compressor right here. I'm also going to need to get industrial craft power over here since I don't have any. This uses EU, not MJ, so that's, I'm going to have to make, the power converter to do that. Okay, so we have this compressor here, and I think, I think I just want to put an export bus on it directly, and then we can, if we need the singles of the lapis, we can put that through a pulverizer on demand. Okay, so I'm going to need an export bus, one of these guys. Dink. Okay, so that goes into the top. Hopefully that works. I am going to need some ME cabling. Let's grab some of that. Let's craft up, 20 more should be fine. Awesome. Okay, so we're going to need some cabling just to connect this to the system. And down we go. Underneath here, we are going to need an import bus. Wait, does the import bus come from the side? Let's see. Yeah, if we go from the bottom, I think it goes in here. So I think we'll need an import bus from the side to pull out of that. So let's do that. Import. Let's grab one of these guys. Okay, and we can remove that one. Do that. Okay, so into the top, out from the side, and that should be all that we need to do. We just have to finish connecting this all the way over. Awesome. We're going to have to provide a power, obviously. Okay, so let's just make sure this works. Let me grab some lapis. Do that. Lapis right there. And yep, that is filling up the correct spot. Let me just do stacks at a time just to make it faster. Awesome. Okay, so that works. All right, so give me a moment here. I am going to create a IC2 power converter so we can power this thing, and we'll be right back. All right, guys, so I've done some work around here trying to get this all hooked up for some power. So I have the energy bridge down here, the power converter mods. We're going from Steam consumer, energy link, to IC2 low voltage producer. So this is going to put out 32 EU a tick. And then I was going to hook this up, and I remembered, oh yeah, we need wires to hook this up. So I could have made copper wire, which isn't too bad to do. In fact, I already have copper wires as one of my auto crafting things because it's used in part by some other things. But I didn't quite want to use this stuff. I want to make glass fiber. So the recipe that I'm going to use, let's see, glass fiber. You can make this in a couple different ways. So 1 diamond, 2 redstone is 4. Diamond and 2 silver is 6. And yeah, I think this is just the same thing, just showing it differently. But yeah, 4 and 6 again. But on the very last screen here, we can use Electrum to 2 Electrum, 1 diamond, some glass to make 8. So this is the recipe I want to use. Now currently I don't have Electrum bees. You can make Electrum bees, but I don't have that done yet. So Electrum you can make by combining both gold dust and silver dust. You get the Electrum dust, and then you can smelt that up. So right now I have gold ingots. I have tiny piles of gold dust, which is going to be automatically crafted into other things. But as you can see here, I have made a new one called pulverized gold. So I hooked up a pulverizer here, and in this pulverizer, I have it so it's going to take a silver ingot and pulverize it, and it's going to take a gold ingot and pulverize it. So both of those are available recipes. And then I have a third recipe, which is going to make the Electrum, and you can use the pulverized dust just the same. So a silver pulverized and a gold pulverized together make 2 Electrum pulverized, or 2 Electrum dust, not pulverized dust. So at that point, over here on this furnace, I have all these other ones. And this very last one right here says crafts 1 Electrum ingot with 1 Electrum dust. So if this is all set up right, if I say make me 1 Electrum ingot, it should put a dust, it should put a gold bar in here and then a silver bar in there. It'll pulverize them, and then it should combine them into the Electrum dust. And then it should come over here and smelt it. So let's just see if that works. Let's do Electrum. Let's do 1 Electrum ingot. Begin. So the pulverizer kicks on, and it is doing the gold. Now it's doing the silver. Now the furnace should kick on. There it is. And that is making an Electrum ingot. That is awesome. Okay, so that is all automated and hooked up. But again, this stuff is probably going to be moved at one point or another. But I just wanted to get this hooked up and get those patterns all made and all that stuff. Okay, so now that I'm auto-producing the Electrum, that means I can hook up and auto-craft glass fiber cable. So let's see if this is going to work. I want glass fiber cable. I don't know how much I need. We make 8 of them in one craft. So if I say just make 1, it's going to make 8. So let's just click begin. And let's see if this process is going to work. Looks like it's smelting up the second Electrum over here. And let's see. Did I have it? Yeah, there we go. So it only required 2 Electrum. I crafted one before. It just crafted a second one now because we made 2 Electrum dust. And there's the glass fiber cable. So that is awesome. Let's just see this work again real quick. I want to make 8 more. Whoops, not that. Let's do begin. So the pulverizer kicks on. It's making some Electrum dust. It should auto-craft it, send it over to the furnace. That is awesome. Okay, and then if I look here, there's the glass fiber cables. This automation stuff with applied energistics is so awesome. There's a lot of more automation that I want to hook up similar to that. This is just going to be basic. I'm just going to be compressing lapis blocks. So if we hook that there and that there, why does that not? IC2 low voltage out. Why does that not connect? Should that connect? That should connect. Found the problem. I had the steam consumer over here and the IC2 low voltage producer on this side. Switched them. So now this should work. There we go. Okay, so let's just connect this wire. Whoops. Connect the wire. What the heck? Come on. There we go. So that turns green, and this is putting out 2 EU a tick, using 6 millibuckets. So does this thing always use a little bit of power on idle? It must, because this thing just says that it's using it. Or is it? Oh, it's compressing already. That's right, because I had the export bus already hooked up. So yeah, this is just going to go ahead and compress these things and export them here. Maybe something else I should do is autocraft. Let's see. I should autocraft the speed upgrades because this is really slow. Although I guess it doesn't really matter. I mean, this will just keep going, over time. But it would be nice if the overclocker upgrades were installed on this machine. That's something else I'm going to have to think about doing. Well, unfortunately, guys, it looks like we have reached that time of the episode once again. We're just at the end. So we got, a pretty good amount of stuff done today. We got some lapis being auto-compressed. We had some patterns hooked up to automatically pulverize and smelt up Electrum ingots. I made a whole bunch of other patterns to make more pulverizers and other different blocks and things that we need around here. I'll probably start rearranging this room off camera between this episode and next. Just try and get things laid out in a more organized fashion. I think probably everything on this side is going to be moved over here. And then on this side, we're going to start putting the IC2 machines. I do want an implosion compressor. Like I said before, I'm going to want an industrial blast furnace and a whole bunch of other different machines like that. I don't really want to go crazy like DMAC has gone with his rooms and rooms of centrifuges and things like that, but I do want to be able to auto-craft and auto-produce every single item that I need. So I am going to have to hook up a whole bunch of those machines. Alright guys, so that is going to do it for today. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you next time.